You're scrolling, drifting through the endless static of the algorithm, waiting for the signal to cut through the noise. Consider, if you will, that you just found the frequency. You've just stepped off the timeline of the everyday, into the space where the forgotten history and the hidden truths finally touch down. There's the story you know, and then there's the airspace we're about to enter. Check your coordinates, because you're heading towards the landing point.
Welcome back, friends. Today's story. Is this a trick? You've likely seen the photographs. A towering figure standing next to an ordinary man, looking like a trick of the camera. But behind the spectacle is the rest of the story. In the winter of 1918, a baby boy was born in the quiet river town of Alton, Illinois. His name was Robert. He entered the world a perfectly average 8 pounds 6 ounces. His parents, Harold and Addie, were folks of average stature. There was absolutely no reason to suspect the little Robert would be anything but ordinary. But then Robert began to grow, and he simply never stopped. By the time he was 6 months old, he weighed 30 pounds. At a year and a half, he weighed 62 pounds. By the time Robert was 8 years old, he stood taller than his own father. Now, in the 1920s and 30s, there was a certain way of dealing with people who were considered different. They were whisked away to sideshows, put in tents, billed as freaks of nature for amusements of paying crowds. But Robert's family flatly refused. They were determined that their son would live a normal life. When he wanted to join the Boy Scouts at age 13, his parents didn't hide him away. Instead, they had a custom uniform made. He required a custom tent and a custom sleeping bag, but he went camping and earned his merit badges just like the other boys. He collected stamps. He loved photography. He graduated from high school right there in Illinois and even enrolled in college, intending to study law. He was known around his hometown as the mild-mannered, polite young man who loved playing the guitar, at least until his hands simply grew too large to fret the strings. He was a gentle soul trapped in the body driven by a hyperactive pulmonary gland, a condition medical sciences at the time could not safely treat. Eventually, the sheer logistics of his life caught up with him and his family. His custom-made shoes alone cost a small fortune. So Robert finally agreed to tour the country, but on one strict condition. He refused to wear a circus costume or perform tricks. He insisted on wearing a tailored suit, a professional tailored suit. He wasn't a sideshow attraction. He traveled as a goodwill ambassador for the International Shoe Company, which in turn built his massive shoes for free. He traveled the United States, drawing crowds by the thousands. Yet despite the endless staring eyes, the poking, and the constant tiring questions about the weather up there, he maintained a quiet, steadfast dignity. Tragically, the immense physical strain of his body required him to wear heavy iron braces on his legs just to stand. In the summer of 1940, while making an appearance at a festival, a poorly fitted brace rubbed a blister on his ankle. Because of his extreme size, his circulation was poor and his sensation was diminished. He didn't even feel the blister forming. It became severely infected, and just days later, despite the emergency surgeons and blood transfusions, the young man passed away in his sleep. He was only 22. When the doctors measured him shortly before his death, he stood an astonishing 8 feet 11.1 inches tall. The quiet boy from Alton, a young man who just wanted to study law and take photographs, remains to this very day the tallest human being in recorded medical history. The world remembers a medical marvel, But the folks back home just remember the gentle giant, Robert Wadlow. And whether you realize it or not, this is the landing point.
Viewers, thank you for watching today, The Landing Point. We really appreciate it. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Roadrunner Real Estate. They are a full-service real estate company doing both commercial and residential real estate. They can help you buy, sell, or even lease your properties. So if you're in the market looking for a real estate company, please go out and give them a call. They'll happily help you today. The next thing I'd like to talk about is our social media. Obviously, we have YouTube if you're watching that today. If you haven't done so already, please go out and subscribe. It is completely free to you. There's nothing that you'll be charged or membership fees, but it does help us out so we can get our latest episodes to you quickly, and you can find out what's going on with YouTube. Our other place that we do a lot of our social media is on our Facebook page, The Landing Point. So please go out and like and subscribe or follow those, I guess I would say, so you get the latest updates. If you're a person that likes to listen to stories as you're out on the drive, we have our podcast. You can find The Landing Point out there, and it can be on most services. So once again, thank you for watching The Landing Point, and we look forward to see you on our next story.